You've got to pull some cards or something. Something's going on.
Okay, we pulled a card for June. It's in the issue. So, do you want me to talk about that?
Yeah, let's go over that one.
Okay. So, the card I pulled for June was the Two of Swords. When I pull these cards, I'm just like asking the universe to send me the card that is in the highest and best interest of all Herbage readers. So that's very broad. So if this resonates with you, claim it. If it doesn't, just leave it. Let it go. That's a little disclaimer. But the Two of Swords is all about like being stuck in between a decision or like two choices that you're having to make. Mm-hmm. But the tricky thing with this card is it deals with stubbornness. And it's like, it's almost like you are making this decision harder on yourself than it needs to be. Like you're refusing to see the situation for what it is fully. You're being really stubborn about it. You're like, the best thing for me to do right now is just be ignorant. When it's really like, you just need to lift that veil, kind of change your perspective, take a look around you, and figure out, I don't know, the best way to move forward. But you know, like it's within you. It's just you're being stubborn, and you don't want to face reality.
Everyone's battling with themselves right now.
Yep, I've been feeling it.
I know, especially with the Mercury retrograde.
Yes.
Like everything's coming to the forefront.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. Don't sign any legal contracts. Yeah. Be wary of verbal agreements.
Yeah, 'cause things can be misconstrued in all the ways.
Yeah. Which goes with this so perfectly. It's like the veil has to be lifted. And once Mercury is out of retrograde, hopefully that will be the case. And it'll probably be us lifting the veil because we're the ones that blindfolded ourselves in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
Standing in our own way.
Yeah. But finding balance, that's the more positive focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finding balance. I mean, it's always a constant struggle, isn't it? Finding the balance.
It is. It's always hard to read negative cards because I don't want to discourage anybody.
Well, is it
That's
really
life.
negative, though?
Yeah, it's
not. I mean, in the end, it's empowering because you're like, okay, this is where I'm at, and now I know where to go from here. Like, I know how to move forward.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun
like,
stuff.
So don't take it personal. It just means you got some shadow work to do.
Yes, absolutely. Do you guys want me to pull like a card for you?
I haven't pulled for myself today, so.
Did you? How did that go?
Oh, I haven't pulled for myself yet today.
Oh, you haven't? Okay, good.
Yeah. I normally pull. I have 3 oracle and 3 tarot. And I normally just pull them all.
Like one of each.
Yeah.
I need to get into using oracle cards more. I don't use those a lot.
Yeah, the oracles, they're more like, straight to the point.
Yeah, they're very specific. Whereas with like Rider-Waite tarot, you're like, okay, this could mean this, but it could also mean this. So really, it's just whatever resonates with you.
Right, and it's like with the oracle, it's like, and you need to hibernate.
Yep.
Seclude.
Ooh, I got the Fool for you, Jazz.
Fine.
Which is, well, it's so relevant though, because you're like in this new field of work, this new position, and you're just like taking this big leap. You have no idea of all the incredible things ahead of you. It's just like
I'm just like, I'm free.
You are free. You're not weighed down by all of the like experiences of working for Herbage. I'm just kidding.
Oh no, that's messed up.
Breaking work.
No, this is such a good card. This is my favorite card in the deck.
It just means there's bright horizon.
That's really your favorite card?
It's one of them.
Huh.
I mean, okay, I say that about everything.
Yeah, I've heard you say that a couple times.
Okay, if a card has anything to do with new beginnings, change, or like growth, like huge spurts of growth, it's my favorite card.
Gotcha.
Because I just like to constantly keep moving.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
fun stuff.
to keep moving is very important.
Yes.
And very important in my life as well.
Just keep swinging.
I can't wait for you to read mine. Are you going to pull one for me?
I'm working on it. I'm not good at shuffling like this. But last time I shuffled the normal way, you were like, that sounds awful on the mic.
Oh, no.
Like
No, do it your way.
Okay.
Do it your way.
All right. I'm gonna
Yeah.
rest
And
in these
everybody,
headphones.
if you're listening, check this out.
Little ASMR for your day. This is going to be loud. I love that sound.
Just imagine it was a ball grip. It'd be fine.
It was kind of cool, like, carrying the two together.
I know. We should just create a channel at ASMR with, bong rips and
Oh
Yes.
my gosh, we can't put that on the podcast. That is such a good idea. I don't want anyone to steal it.
I'm sure that won't be the only one out there.
All right, James. Put this deck.
All right, I can't wait.
I can't wait.
Because there's some weird shit going on right now, and I want to know if it has anything to do with it.
Ooh, you got the 10 of Wands. I don't know if you can see this from all the way up there, but...
Good struggling.
Yeah. You've been on the struggle bus lately.
Yeah.
You've been on a journey for a while that's been strenuous and laborious, and you're probably feeling pretty tired, a little bit exhausted. But tens are both endings and beginnings together. So this means that you're about to embark on something new.
Yeah.
Which has been a theme for you lately.
Yeah.
With these cards. Like walking away from one thing or...
Well,
Interesting.
Like we've talked about, it's really hard for me to sit still.
Yeah.
It's very hard. It's very hard for me to not have something to do. So that does resonate. And it does resonate a little bit, so much to where I can see where maybe I may be the cause of some of that as well.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, but that's not a bad thing.
No,
it's more
it's
of
not.
like like the type of energy of like, I will follow through, I will finish, I will stay strong. Like, even though I'm
Right.
tired, I'm gonna follow through.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm dedication.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Passion.
Keep on keeping
For
on.
sure.
There's one thing I've been thinking about here lately, and it's something it's interesting to me to actually witness instead of, well, I'm going through it, but I'm also witnessing it at the same time. I know that sounds kind of strange, but and it's triggers. I don't know how you guys deal with triggers as far as like setting you back. Let me explain.
Not
no,
well.
I have a lot of triggers.
Yeah.
I have a lot.
Yeah, and this is something that I'm not really used to. I'm not used to dealing with my triggers in a healthy way. I'm used to dealing with them in an unhealthy way. And so that's why it's really it's interesting to me to witness.
You're starting to become aware of them.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
which is big.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It just means you're in the front to just healing yourself.
Yeah.
So you're just being more self-aware.
Yeah, it's a scary thought because I'm an ex-drinker, and that was one way of dealing with it. And so it's like you don't know as an ex-drinker or an ex-abuser of anything, is that really me? Or is this a trigger? Because I'm not personally familiar with dealing with triggers, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
To me, the things that happen to us that can ultimately become triggers, like those things don't define us. It's how we respond to them.
yes.
And when you're aware of like, okay, every time this thing happens, I respond in this way, then you can like change that behavior. And it's not easy, like it's not overnight, but you can be like, okay, how could I respond differently that I would feel better about it, or, you know, I'd be more proud of myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say, like, being aware of it is huge, because, you know, you can be like, okay, I can respond to this however I want. I can turn it into a positive thing.
Right.
Even though it's upsetting me in this moment, like, I can shift that.
There are some triggers that can't be, you know, of course.
Sure.
Fixed,
Yeah,
sure.
but
Right.
manageable.
But yeah, of course, like when there's
Hopefully.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
to a point.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's like when you start honing in on all of your triggers, you will quickly find out what to avoid and how to go about things differently. So you'll already start seeing those signs before things start to come to a head.
Sure.
So it's
Absolutely.
not knowing those triggers yet, but when you start feeling like that little bit of antsiness
Mm-hmm.
to you, and it's like, okay, well, that's your intuition saying, hey, something's about to
Right, exactly.
something's about to
It's
happen.
that intuition feeling in your gut.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm talking about it now, because I'm trying to get in front of it. It's a feeling that with me, and I think that I see it a lot in cannabis, with cannabis patients that deal with anxiety and we've lived a life of not being ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're able to be ourselves, and then we get into a situation to where something brings you back to that old self and reminds you of what that world was like. And that's a weird trigger. I mean, it's so strange and it's like, whoa, what is reality? You know, at that point.
Yeah, it's like looking at yourself through like not even a mirror, like through a glass house. Like you're actually finally seeing who you.
Yeah.
At least I think it's just like our evolution. You know, it's like we're seeing how we were in our past life. In our past life, you know, could have been like a year ago.
Sure.
You know, and we evolved more to our higher self in order to see what we can do better for ourselves, to just be, you know, present and in the moment.
Yeah. So how do you guys how do you guys deal with resistance to that? I mean, you know, resistance to continuing on your journey forward. You know, whenever resistance could be in any form or fashion. You know, it could be a behavior, it could be people, it could be, you know, whatever it is, but it draws you back. It's that trigger that draws you back, you know?
Right.
Is there a certain way that you deal with the resistance in that way?
I don't think it's like a one size fits all
Sure.
type of situation. Like, some people might need therapy, or like Jasmine was saying, you might just have to avoid it altogether, because
or having multi-layers on top of that, so like therapy, avoidance,
yeah. So I'm not trying to cry. I'm not trying to cry to you guys or anything. I'm just trying to I want other people to realize that there are ways of dealing with resistance, and it's not just about, you know, I'm not here to necessarily just talk about me. I'm trying to relate and understand that I hear stories about this all around whenever I'm driving around from other cannabis patients, that they need help. Mm-hmm. You know, so, you know, that's just the point of it.
Yeah.
Kind of trying to get a different perspective.
You know, Jazz and I
sense.
love conversations like this.
I know, it's just like doing your grounding, and a lot more people, especially with the pandemic, have, you know, come to terms with like, oh, my mind has been more open to what's truly in front of me now.
Yeah.
So people are knowing more of the terms of the spirituality and everything. So like a lot more people are starting to like, oh, maybe I do need to ground myself.
Right.
You know, and that's the start of them, you know, that self-realization and those triggers of saying, oh, that's how I used to be, or that's how I am. And it's like, that's when that shadow work starts to come in, because you realize you're like, oh crap.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Once that veil is lifted.
Yeah. You're just sitting
Once
there
you take that blindfold off yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah.
What was, to each of you, what was the most impactful lesson that you learned in like the last year throughout the pandemic? What is the most, like, What's the lesson that you feel like, or the realization that you had that had the biggest impact on you?
That's a good question. Jasmine, you wanna?
He's like, you start.
Oh, wow. I mean, losing a lot during the pandemic, you know, job and all of that. It's self-realization of being more self-reliant. I've already been self-reliant, but that was like a big key factor in just saying, honing in and being true to myself. I think I would say that would be the biggest one, is being true to myself and not faltering who I am for others, because I've done it for so long.
Yes.
I'm just done.
Mine 100% aligns with that, because I think my thing has been like, my whole life I've been a people pleaser. Like, if people are unhappy around me, I'm like, let me try to fix this, whatever it is. And sometimes I put that before taking care of my own life. And I think I've realized that by putting myself first and taking care of me first, because nobody else is going to do it for me. Like, I can't depend on anybody, and I shouldn't, because that's just not that healthy. But if I don't put myself first, then I am not doing the greatest job of taking care of the people in my life. Like, the best thing I can do for them is do what's right for me.
You can't pour from an empty glass.
Exactly.
Like, and you can't, and a lot of people are just expecting you to give, and it's like you can't continue to give, because it's like you have nothing left. I know there was like this old, it was like Japanese story of a man that would just keep giving away, and it's like somebody comes to me and it's like, oh, I'm very cold, could you give me your shirt? And it's giving me your shirt, and it's like, I don't have any shoes, give me your shoes. And it's like, I'm very hungry, and that's when the beasts start to come through, and it's like, I'm very hungry, I need your leg. And it's like, it just slowly start, and then to where he's nothing anymore. So it's one of those things where you just, like you said, you just have to look out for yourself, not in like being in a selfish way, but not a selfless way.
Right.
You know, so it's just still looking out for those around you by also still enriching and fulfilling your life with what you need to.
Have you guys seen that video of the little girl who's like, I think she like gets in trouble for not having her seatbelt on right, and she just looks at the camera and she's like, you worry about yourself.
Yeah, it's like, you worry about yourself.
Worry about yourself.
I love that baby girl. She's the cutest.
Yeah, that's my theme for the last year. Worry about yourself. What about you, James?
Well, I think we're all kind of on the same page, but you know, I personally, I conquered a battle of mine, and that was to stop being afraid of actually being authentic and being myself. I've had a fear of that all my life, my entire life, of wondering. I mean, I can admit it. I've always wondered what people thought of me. But to be able to actually, it's very empowering, personally, to be able to say, this is me. And I'm not worried if I want you to like it. I want you to like me, but I'll be okay if you don't, you know, and to really mean that. You know, it's something that I've said whenever, you know, you're a teenager or whatever, you're going through your 20s and you're pissed off and, you know, whatever. I don't give a shit what people think, you know, I've said it so many times, but really, to really mean it is very, very special to me. And so that's what I've learned over the last year or so.
I've definitely been a lot more of my authentic self in the last year. And I used to spend a lot of time thinking about what people, or wondering what people thought of me, and then I kind of this year just have been like, you know what, I don't care anymore. Like, I just want to be happy.
Yeah, just want to be happy.
Whatever.
I mean, what's
takes.
wrong with being happy?
Yes.
And even then, people are like, why are you so happy?
But honestly, the fact that they're asking is good, because it's like thought-provoking.
Yeah.
Why are they so happy? What are they
so
doing?
happy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, living my best life.
Yep. But it's been a good year so far, and
oh man, we're in June, aren't we? It's year's already half over. Oh,
I know
word.
it's flying by. I mean, pretty soon we'll be looking at Christmas. Like
my birthday, Christmas Eve.
Woo! So, yeah, anyway, it's been a great show. I can't wait for all the stuff that we have coming up. What's next?
Like this weekend?
Yeah, after the show.
After the... Oh. Well, I hope we're going to get high.
Of course we're going to get high. Are you kidding me? What? No, let's go. We got to get high. Let's go.